Laurel Gray from Happily Organized, and I'm here today interviewing Georgie Rees from Clutterfly. And she is a home organization expert or physical space organization expert. And so many of my clients come to me and they go, "Can't you just organize my office and get all this paper cleared?" And to be very honest, that's probably my least favorite thing to do. So that's why I brought Georgie today to talk a little bit more about herself and how she works with clients.
Well, my name is Georgie Rees from Clutterfly, and I guess I help clients restore the harmony in their home or in their home office. It's all about cutting through that chaos, that daily sort of clutter of stuff that's in the home or the office, and really, helping my clients to relieve a bit of that stress and that kind of constant headache of stuff and things that they need to do, and help them reclaim some time that they really should be spending on more important things or should actually be spending on themselves.
Wow. Can I just ask out of curiosity a question? How much time do you think that your clients are spending every week on dealing with stuff, whether it's in their office or in their home?
Oh, look, I think it's probably a lot more time than we even think, because actually if you really sat down and thought about it, every time you have a moment spare, you're probably thinking about, oh, that pile of paper that I just saw, oh, that stuff there, that stuff I should do. And every time you look at it and you think about it, you're realizing that you haven't done it and that you're procrastinating about it and you should do it, and then you're looking at the next pile. And so I actually think it's probably constant. When you're not actually doing something else, you're feeling guilty about it without realizing it.
Wow. Do you think that people are tougher on themselves than they should be?
Yes.
I'm asking for myself. That's my own personal knowledge.
They are, but I think they're tougher in a different way. So as I say, it's that procrastination and that constant guilt. So they're just sort of, it becomes a reoccurring kind of thing that they're challenging themselves with. But if they actually sort of, I guess, defined the time that they were thinking about these problems or dealing with these problems or this clutter or this paperwork, then they would actually find that they're spending less time thinking about it, and it's less of a problem.
It sounds like really just facing facts. Like, okay, I've got this stuff. What am I going to do about it? And taking action.
Yeah, exactly. And what I do like to say to my clients is, if you kind of deal with it a little bit at the time, like, okay, you might not be able to sit down and pay all your bills at once, but if you actually get to opening the mail and putting it in the pile of bills that you know you need to pay, then you're already halfway there. You're not sitting there looking at piles of mail that you should open, but once you open it, oh my goodness, I've got to do something with it, and when I don't have time now, so I'm just going to put it off. But you're actually halfway there if you've opened the mail and put it in a pile already to start with. And if you're giving yourself, one time a week to pay bills, then you only have to think about it one time a week.
Yep, exactly. So I'm curious about, either for yourself as a business owner, because you run your own small business,
Yep.
or for your clients who maybe are professionals, moms. You work with a lot of moms, right?
Yeah, I do. I go into a lot of homes, with families.
Absolutely. So what's the biggest organizing challenge that either you face or you find that your clients face?
Well, in terms of my biggest organisation challenge, which I guess is a funny question to ask a professional organiser.
People think that we're all really organized.
My clients always say to me, "Are you like a builder? Do you have they have a half-finished home? Do you have sort of a half-tidy home, that kind of thing?" And actually what I've found is that my challenge is that I'm a little bit too organised, which means that I'm actually putting myself under undue pressure to do more than I actually am capable of, and that gets me overwhelmed, and I feel like I'm losing control and things like that. So I go into my clients' homes, and whether they're mums or small business owners or executives, that they're overwhelmed as well, but they're probably more from the disorganised point of view. And it really is about finding that happy medium where you've got boundaries. Like I was saying before, you set yourself boundaries so that you actually are only thinking about the annoying stuff a little bit at a time, and if you deal with it sort of by process or as and when you need to, then it's not hanging over your head and causing you that stress or that constant pressure and headache. And all my clients say that the number one thing that they find is that they're drowning in paperwork. It's a way of life. Like paper comes into the home, and if you don't do something about it, it sits there and it doesn't go away. It's the same as the office. It sits on your desk, and I walk into offices and they can't sort of see the desk for all the paperwork, and they don't even know what the paperwork is or why they've got it.
Oh my gosh. So I guess it's interesting to me when you talk about the office part as well, because you do a lot of home offices.
Yep.
I guess I'm curious. Well, I lost my train of thought.
Ryan Gosling came to my head.
Ryan Gosling. Oh, I've got to stop thinking about him. I wanted to ask more about, because I'm just curious about when people are coming to you, do they already sort of have a digital system at all, or are they looking to like get everything moved? So I'm going to ask that again.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm curious about the home office, or even the regular office if you're going in there.
Yep.
Do people want to get that? Do they have this ideal that there's a perfect digital workspace and they can just get rid of all the paper, and that's their goal and they want to work with you?
Sometimes I guess they say to me, again, it's like, do you have any paper in your home? Like, what do you do with your paper? And it's like, look, I embrace the paper. I actually do like paper. I'm still trying to get hold of the whole digital thing and being paperless. But as I say, as long as you manage it and you know sort of what the boundaries are, then you can have paper. But a lot of clients try to go down that I'm going to have no paper, and it's almost like going cold turkey. It's like I'm going to say paperless to bills and blah 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 blah, but it's inevitable. You're always going to get paper come into the house, whether it's the notes from school or whether it's the invoices or the receipts or just the credit card statement that comes through, that kind of thing. So I think it's really good to look at the digital side of things as much as possible and have that filing system, but you're always going to have a bit of paper to deal with.
Yeah, unfortunately. Even for me, I still have paper. I can't help it.
Exactly.
So, I always want to have a takeaway at the end of these videos, something that people can go back and actually do to get started.
Okay.
So do you have one crucial tip that you would say, like, you have to go back and do this, it's going to free up your mind?
Yeah, well, I guess what I say is start at the beginning, and that would be tackling one paper pile at a time, and I would say start with the oldest paper pile, because quite frankly that's going to be the easiest, because you probably don't need any of the stuff there. You probably can't remember where it came from or what it's for, or it's probably out of date. So give yourself the easiest thing to deal with first, and only take 15 minutes. Like, everyone's got 10 or 15 minutes in their day to go, all right, I'm just going to focus on this for that 10 or 15 minutes, and then I don't have to think about it for the rest of the day. So go home and just find that one pile of paper, and I guarantee it'll probably only take you 5 minutes because it'll probably be going straight in the bin. But just try and embrace that feeling of going, oh my goodness, I actually think a weight has been lifted from my shoulder, because that pile of paper that I keep looking at every time I sit at my desk is gone, and now there's a clear space, and oh my goodness, imagine what I can do with that clear space.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I know that I can go back and do that. Don't tell anyone. Oh, thank you so much for taking the time to come and share all these tips. And if you want to work with Georgie, well, how can people work with you, actually?
Well, I've got a Facebook page, so it's facebook.com/clutterfly, or you can go to my website, clutterfly.com.au, and have a look around, and so there's a bit more information there. But really, I think the best thing is to pick up the phone and have a chat with me. I'm more than happy to chat to anyone, and even if it's just to give them that little kind of kickstart to go and do it themselves, that's my goal in the end, that I want people to sort of be working on it themselves, but quite often it's nice to have someone there to motivate you to
in person.
Yes, go and do it, and just sort of hold your hand and guide you a little bit. So yeah, please do give me a call.
Sorry, there was a huge bug.
No, it kept coming back.
Like got underneath my shirt. Okay, can we start
Okay,
again
yes.
from how
Yes.
can they work with you?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
No,
'cause
no,
it
that's
sounded
right.
really
Do you
good.
want me to go on about all that, like
Yeah,
getting in
I do,
contact?
because I think it's
Yeah,
important that
okay.
people know. Can you actually include how you actually work? Because people don't
Yes.
know.
No.
Yes, you'll give a
Yes.
consultation.
Yes.
Then is an initial consultation paid, or is it you go in there and it's
Pretty much it's have a chat, go into the home and do the session.
okay?
So
And
that's
then-
right. I can do it.
Well, it's just because people don't
No,
know these
that's a
things.
good-
And then
that's a
is there
good
a
point.
minimum amount of time that you like to work in this space for? Like you block in for like 3 hours. It depends. On the
I'd
person.
say a session is usually between 4 and 6 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. So and a room or an area is a session at a time.
Okay.
That's how I vaguely work.
That's really good. If you can explain that, that would be perfect. Because even for me, I didn't really understand
Okay. All right.
that. Even though I've gotten a lot of organizing help. All right. So thank you so much for sharing all of these wonderful tips and all of your
pleasure.
insights. And I'm just wondering if people watching want to work with you, can you share a little bit more about how they could do that?
Sure. Well, I've got a Facebook page, so facebook.com/clutterfly, and a website, clutterfly.com.au. So you're more than welcome to go on there and have a look around. But I think probably having a phone conversation to start with is always the best way, because I can understand a bit more about where you're coming from and how you're feeling, and give you a bit of an idea of how we would start to sort of help you feel a bit better about things. And I guess then I'd sort of say, well, it's always very hard to judge how long something's going to take. But I roughly say, each session is about 4 to 6 hours, which is a good amount of time to actually get something done and feel like you've achieved something at the end.
And it goes by like this, literally.
It goes really quickly, because once you start pulling things apart, you sort of get involved in it, and the time disappears. And what I would say is that probably one session minimum per area or room. When the paperwork gets involved, it can take a bit longer depending on how much paperwork you've got from how far back. But that's generally how we would do it, is sort of aim to have one session per sort of area or room, 4 to 6 hours. So, I welcome your call, even if it's just to sort of have a chat and go, I don't know whether I need you, or I don't know really what you do. But, it's even if I sort of give you that encouragement to get going, that's sort of...
Absolutely. And just knowing that there's somebody that you can call that actually is going to understand what's going on.
Absolutely. That's it. I mean, my clients always say, you probably, I'm really embarrassed about you coming into my home. Like, you probably haven't seen this before. And, I feel like I'm the only person. And I'm like,
oh, honey.
Honestly,
I've seen it all.
I guarantee you I will have seen worse than what you think. And, it is so many people feel exactly the same way as you. And I think until you sort of start to explore that, you probably, you don't realise what it's like to go, okay, there is a way through it. And quite often it's just the starting point. The moment you actually, book a consultation or even pick up the phone, you're going to feel better about yourself and embrace that. And
things will start moving.
Exactly, yeah. Embrace the motivation to keep going.
Oh. Thank you so much again for sharing.
Pleasure.
Please go on and subscribe to this channel for more interviews and videos. And thanks a lot for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Very good.